one thing that I want everybody should have, especially the young people, especially those people who are like me. And I'm very glad that I have this particular tendency, behavior, or skill, whatever you can say, right? This is a very crucial skill. I will going to come up into it in a few moments, but before that I have to give a very loud shout out to the environment where I am in, because you are the product of your environment. You are nothing. Like the environment you have, you will be like that way. What does a college or a university does? It just create an environment where you kind of grow automatically. Like suppose if you create a garden where you created the soil in a manner where all the plant is getting nourishment automatically. So you are created certain kind of environment where all the flowers, all the plants, everything is kind of a blossoming all of a sudden automatically, because that's how the environment is and that's how the environment is treating the plant. The same thing has the solely purpose of all the universities, all the colleges, all the big institute is to create certain environment where you can blossom or where you can be shaped, right? That is what's the sole purpose of colleges, institute, or any big organization. And that's why I all the time believe whoever I am the product of my environment. If I am so whatever now I will going to say, it's because I am from this particular land, I am from this particular terrain, I am from this particular civilization, I am from this particular culture, which actually taught all those things that I will going to say now. You know, one wise man said that this is a land of seeker, not believer. What I mean by that, it is a land, it is a territory, it is a terrain where people will going to find all the thing that is in their head, or that they want, or that they're interested in. It is not a land where if I told you somebody and you will going to believe it just quick of a second. No, it is a land where you believe whatever you have experienced, where you believe whatever you see, whatever you feel, whatever you gather. So the goal was not the pleasure. The goal was always the knowledge. And when there is a knowledge, it is pretty much certain that you will not going to believe whatever the people are saying. You will going to see, witness, and experience all those things. And after having those experiences, you will going to make your mind based upon your conclusion. Therefore, this is not a land of believer. This is a land of seeker. A very wise man said that, and I totally believe that. By saying that, what I mean, this is a culture where asking question was never an issue. Rather, it was a appreciating thing that he is asking question. That's mean he is keen to know whatever that he is interested in. So in simple term, you will not going to believe whatever I will just say. You will going to inquire. You will going to find answer by asking questions. You will find in a search for something that you are interested in. And I can guarantee one thing only, and one thing only. If somebody will say, what is the sum total that you have gathered, or what are the things that you have learned, what is the thing that you are very grateful of, I will say only one thing only, which is I am very glad that this particular land, this particular culture, this particular territory teach me only one thing only. There is nothing like, this is the basis. And this is the fundamental through which all those things that I have learned accumulated. I have accumulated. And the one thing that I have learned from this land is asking questions. And if somebody will say that what is the core skill that I have, this is the fundamental skill that I have. This is the very skill that I have. And it doesn't mean that I have gathered this skill from my mom's womb. Not at all. Nothing I have gathered that's come from when I birth. And nobody actually come up with that. Everybody learned, accumulated, improve their skill set in this very land, in this very earth. Then how can we say that I just learned it from the mother? So not at all. We all learn each and every, because the entire civilization, because the entire culture, it is in the soil, it is in the cultural DNA, it is in the civilizational DNA, that asking question is the most fundamental skill that we all learn after getting born with. If I give you an example, our entire ancient philosophies and entire ancient scripture based on what? Based on inquiry. All those people, all those scientists, all those sages, they just went out and looking for something. They were searching for something. It was all inquiry, within or without. What I mean by that, they were inquiring within themselves or exploring throughout the entire world. That is what our real heritage. If I take a reference from the ancient time or from the ancient scriptures, there is a one core principle that I have used all the time, that I use all the time, and it's called Neti Neti principle. It's like scissor operation. It's not this, not that, not this, not that, not this, not that. It is like pure skepticism, even though we are not aware of it, but it is the purest form of skepticism, and by using that principle you are arriving to the core answer that you are looking for. And the same idea actually I believe has been quoted by all the great people like Steve Jobs. He just said that you have to reduce or suppress all like 100 of good idea in order to come to a one great idea. Neti Neti principle in real life, in real action. And when I use the word Neti Neti, let's first understand what does that mean at the first. What is the standing? What does that word stand for? It's a Sanskrit word, and the meaning of it is to look for something, is for search for something by cutting things or saying no, this is not the thing. No, this is not the thing. No, this is not the thing that I'm looking for. No, this is not the thing that I'm looking for. It's like cesarean operation. You cut everything into two till you reach the destination, till you reach the things that you're looking for. Okay, so let's come back to the context that I was giving you. So I'm very glad that this very land taught this particular thing to me, which is asking questions. I mean, whatever I am, whatever I have gathered, whoever I am, whatever you are listening to right now, all those things is possible because I have this natural tendency that I learned from this very culture, is to asking questions. And yes, this is the pure fundamental skill that I learned and that I am very proud of, and that I am very gratitude towards this land, that this land actually taught me this of asking question. And people may think, okay dude, it's not very, it's very normal thing, why you're keep repeating that particular thing. People take this for granted, but they don't even know all the scriptures. Like, take any scripture, they were just conversation. And what, like, they are not just saying random stuff. One person is there who is curious and who is asking question to somebody who knows something, and it's always question and answer. Look at any text from this very civilization, you will find only one thing only, who is asking great question. And the moment you start to ask good questions, great questions, are questions that actually help you to reach a destination where you want to reach, you get the answer. The entire thing is inquiry is the only way. Asking question is the only way. And what I have understood and what I have realized by noticing all the people, that they are kind of losing the sense of asking question. They're afraid, they are being shy. They think, what will people going to think about themselves? They think asking question is not a good thing. They think, if I ask question, if I express myself, if I express my doubts, confusions and all the other things, people may think I'm stupid. People may think he's a fool or she's a fool. That's not the way. I would not say all the people, but people who are afraid. Who are afraid of what? Who are just afraid of asking questions, because the society will think of them otherwise. And they are losing this very core skill. Not very exception, not very exponentially, but it's like a slow poisoning, because their critical thinking has been reduced. And because of this reduction, they are not able to see, they are not able to think very critically, so sharp that they can ask a question that lead to their answer, whatever they're looking for. Okay, let's understand this particular thing using a different perspective. The most important thing is curiosity, and I believe that, like, whatever it is, whether it is a book, movie, video, whatever the heck is going on in the world, it's all because you are curious. People are now going to the moon because they are curious about the space. People are now digging into the earth. People are discovering all sort of things, whether biologically, neurologically, geographically. Why? Like, what is the core basis of all those things? Why? They are there. Every day there are thousands of research papers that is coming up. Every day there are hundreds of thousands of, or I would say Yeah, thousands is a good statistic number. Thousands of research still going on. Why? Because at the very fundamental level, they all are curious. They all are curious. That's why they are digging into the things that they are interested in, that they wanted to understand, that they wanted to get the answer from. Nowadays, people are very double down, or people are very hard into quantum computing, quantum physics. That is the most trendiest topic that I ever heard, and I am very interested in. I am reading like hundreds of research paper using Perplexity. Obviously, I can't read like hundreds of research paper like like directly. I am using Perplexity and all those AI. Like, you got my point. What I am saying is, you have to understand this very fundamental thing, because I am a very fundamental. I don't go and stuck into the complex. I am very fundamental guy. And what I am saying, the curiosity, that is the skill, that is the trait, that is the tendency, that is the behavior, whatever you want to say, that is the very fundamental, that is the root of all the thing which is happening. And what do you think, what's make a successful people or intelligent people or people whom you idealize than a normal people, like a super ordinary or extraordinary and a normal ordinary people? What is the distinction? What is the distinction? What do you think? Whatever you can say, but the core distinction is he is very curious, very curious. And he is not, he is like, अरे लाइफ जैसा चल रहा है चलने देना यार, क्यों झूठ मूठ का रावड़ा कर रहा है, क्यों झूठ मूठ का उंगली कर रहा है, क्यों झूठ मूठ का दिमाग खराब कर रहा है, चलने दे जैसा चल. ही इज लाइक, क्यों हो रहा है ये, कैसे हो रहा है? I just wanted to know why is this happening. I am very interested in it. I want to dig deep into it, and I will not going to stop till I get the answer. Curiosity, only curiosity. Here is not curiosity. Here is curiosity, and that's make the actual differentiation. That's make the actual differentiation. And what do you think? How you grow curiosity? How you cultivate curiosity? How you gain curiosity? Is it a skill, or is it a skill that you go somewhere, took from somebody, learn from? Yeah, you can learn from somebody, but it's all about self acknowledgement, that you have to be very curious. And how you will become very curious? The moment you will ask questions that actually blow your mind. And how you will going to ask your questions? The moment you sharp your intelligence. And how you going to sharp your intelligence? The moment you start to observe, you start to focus, you start to put your attention into the subject that you are looking for, so much so that you observe each and everything. If I recall, when I was in college, so when the professor was giving all the lectures, all my fellow students were, they were like, took their pen and paper and they start to jot down each and everything, which is a very good. I am not in disagreement with those people, those students, not at all, which is a very good. They were just writing down. And on the other hand, I was a guy who just listened to them very curious, very sharply. Like, my focus was never what the other fellow students were talking, what they are writing down, who are coming, who are not. I just listened. I just put my entire attention into what the teacher was saying. I can understand everybody have their own way to learn and adapt and so on and so forth. But what I am saying is, this is my own personal experience that I have gone through. When I was listening to the professor, I was understanding pretty much exceptionally. Like, all the people they were like stuck for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, then they used to give answer, and I was like, I know that answer. But how that happened? Because this is the supercomputer that we don't know. Yeah, writing down is a good thing if you want to understand, but when you want to digest the information that you have collected, this is the supercomputer, this is the CPU, this is the RAM, this is the storage, whatever, this is it. If you give, okay, you are jotting down the data, great, you are putting into the database, but when you putting into that database, you have to process that information, and when you want to process that information, you have to put the data into from the database to CPU, right? Then why not just store into the CPU? And I am again saying that everybody have their own behavior, own tendencies, and own way of learning and own way of digesting. I am not denying, or I am not criticizing, or I am not pushing anybody out of the self. What I'm just saying is, when I was doing that particular behavior, I tend to answer very efficient, very fast. So what was happening back then? I was just very curious what they are teaching. I just don't want to store it. I want to understand. That is the core distinction. They wanted to store it, then understand it. I want like, go to hell, the database, understand. Why I wanted to understand it? I was very curious. Why I am very curious? I constantly ask the question, why Aristotle said that? Why the poetics have this structure, why Aristotle give that narrative structure, why Macbeth have that kind of a setting, that kind of rhythm, why the Macbeth story by Shakespeare going that way, what kind of things that they wanted to teach, how the Shakespeare come with this particular thing. Is there any kind of a connection between the era that Shakespeare were living, and so on and so forth? So in simple term, when I was listening to the professor, I was very curious. I was very curious, and I was just listening to them very by paying very close attention. And that is what I think the actual distinction between somebody else and me. I am very skepticism person. I don't believe at whatever I just heard. I have this tendency, I have this behavior to ask question. To whatever I will only believe till I didn't experience, till I didn't see, till I didn't come to my own judgment by inquiring, by questioning, by so on and so forth. So why you are not doing the very same thing? That is the question. Just ask question. Just build this habit of asking question. The moment you start to ask question, the moment you become very curious, the moment you become very curious, you start to put yourself into that particular subject or into that particular course. You are interested in that. And okay, let's go to the very beginning. Okay, suppose you don't know how to ask questions or so on and so forth. Then what you will going to do? Like what? Generally what? Just put your close attention to whatever is going, and the moment you pay your close attention, pay your full attention to whatever just happening, the question automatically arises in your head. So it's all come down to this particular thing, this fundamental thing, that put your entire attention into it, ask question, become curious, and find it out by your own self. Yeah, this is the very core skill. Ask question, don't afraid, just go for it and ask question. This particular thing that this soil has to teach you, all the ancient scriptures, all the teaching, all the research paper, all those things that the civilization has accumulated or experienced, is kind of teaching you as a next generation that asking question is the only way, becoming curious is the only way. There's no other way. You have to ask question. That's this land teach you, that's this civilization teach you. Then why you are being afraid? You are being afraid because you can lose your job. Maybe your boss will going to treat you in a different way because you asked very hard questions. So what you are doing, by putting all those excuses, you're just putting yourself behind, because you are not giving yourself the 100% to alive, or to go ahead, or to expand to your full potential. Ask question based on your context, ask question based on your setting. This is the thing that is the most important and crucial skill. Becoming very curious, becoming curious, and curiosity is the way. How you become very curious? By asking question. How you will going to ask the question? The moment you put your entire undivided attention to the subject or to the course, to the things that you are doing.